So imagine me. I'm running, because I like to run. 5.3-ish miles is my route. Just finished it in 53 minutes, 49 seconds, hours ago. 11 minutes to go till I get back to my peak form last early spring. I've also been working on getting a Mario Kart video prepped before Wave 6 drops. So 3 Mario Kart videos by Friday, planned already. All the while, I'm also making 2 ginormous, completely different reviews. And then Nintendo, out of nowhere, is just like, we're making a Zelda movie. No major direct. No major presentation or film convention. No. Just random interview. Random tweet. Under the Japanese Nintendo account. Quote, "This is Miyamoto. I have been working on the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda for many years now with Avi Arad-san, who has produced many mega-hit films. I have asked Avi-san to produce this film with me, and we have now officially started the development of the film, with Nintendo itself heavily involved in the production. It will take some time until its completion, but I hope you look forward to seeing it." Yeah, so Nintendo and Arad Productions, Inc., they are producing this film. It's being directed by Wes Ball. It'll be co-financed by Nintendo and Sony Pictures Entertainment, Inc., and are just creating newer opportunities for more people globally to access Nintendo's wide array of characters and worlds. First with Mario, and now with Zelda. So, first off, I love, but I also really hate, why do they pull this stuff all the time? Not super often. It's a Nintendo trademark at this point, though. Whether they shadow drop a game by the same day, weeks, months from now, or a huge announcement like this, they casually drop these kinds of news onto us just out of the blue. And something like this? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is huge. Dude, it hasn't even been a year since the Mario movie came out, and they already confirmed they started development on a live-action Legend of Zelda movie. To me, this wouldn't be something you just casually tweet out. It's funny, I like it, but I hate it, because this is genuinely one of the biggest things in this current time Nintendo could ever just throw out there. Probably only beaten by them hypothetically showing off their next console or something. But Zelda's getting a movie. Now it's official, and from what it sounds like, it'll likely be several years out from now. Most generous scenario, since Miyamoto's apparently been planning this for a while, even during all the development on the Mario movie, hardest worker in the room he looks like right now, I'd say 3 years. 2026, early 2027, I could see us getting the release of this movie. Again, the generous best case scenario outcome-ish. But if Nintendo's quality assurance is anything to go off of, especially of their top tier IPs, and their long, arduous 6 to 7 year journey of getting the Mario movie done, probably 5 or so years. That would be a safer bet. So realistically, we're not going to see this project done for a pretty good while. That said, this makes so much easy sense. The Mario movie did so unbelievably well. It raked in a massive amount of cash. It's one of the best performed animated movies of all time. Over $1.3 billion produced. It made Nintendo and Illumination an unbelievable amount of money. Money talks. It's business. So from that angle, it's obvious why Nintendo's almost immediately willing to announce they're working on another film. But even then, the Mario movie paved the way for Nintendo to just completely go hog wild on expanding their brand and IPs into cinema, and a ton of people really liked the Mario movie. For both casual moviegoers and hardened Mario veterans, it was a fun time and a good movie that looked and felt very Mario-like. The faithfulness of the movie to the source especially, whether the character designs, the overall art style, the sound design, the characters' personalities for the most part, etc., went a super long way in helping the movie's success. So critically and financially, the Mario movie panned out so well for Nintendo, it's natural to expect them wanting to branch out in more movies of more of their franchises, and I think it's the safest thing to say. Every single fan coming out of the Mario movie, even for those who didn't watch it, all of us can agree, their next big movie of one of their IPs was gonna be Zelda. It was basically bound to happen just from the Mario movie success. But ignoring Mario, and Mario being Nintendo's main mascot and biggest cash cow, The Legend of Zelda is Nintendo's chief de facto AAA franchise. Their main franchise with probably the highest standards set by themselves and their consumers than most of their other brands, especially after Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Zelda's consistent standard of thrusting Link and the player in these ginormous worlds, elaborate settings, and characters and narratives. It's the one franchise people look at under Nintendo and expect a lot of great things and resonant experiences from. And most people definitely felt before and after the Mario movie, Zelda was one of Nintendo's best options to adapt into a feature-length film. That's their main story-centric franchise, the ever-changing world of Hyrule in most games, the shifts in timelines, the reincarnations of Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, and all the inhabitants of Hyrule, ally or enemy. Like, the series speaks for itself and why it should get a movie at all. Interestingly though, it's going to be live action, and one of the co-producers is the guy who became Chief Executive Officer of Marvel Entertainment and then Chairman, CEO, and founder of Marvel Studios. Dude's been producer on so many different superhero films since the early 2000s, Spider-Man 2 and 3, Iron Man, Venom, both Spider-Verse films, executive producer behind the whole Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy. The guy's resume is pretty damn strong. All of this, and the Mario into Zelda stuff, tied into the notion that I'm pretty sure most people agree Zelda's one of the handful of Nintendo IPs you could probably adapt into live action as well. Zelda, Metroid, maybe the Mother series, maybe F-Zero, if that was ever crossed their mind, but that's more of a joke if anything. But Zelda and Metroid, I think, were the two main series that could work the best in live action in most people's minds, and a live action fantasy epic for Zelda speaks for itself pretty easily. That said, I'm always gonna hold it against Nintendo in not trying to seek out Studio Ghibli, because I am not the first person to say a 2D animated Zelda film by Studio Ghibli is the easiest, smartest, and the deadliest combo. Nintendo and Studio Ghibli could have absolutely dominated, and we'll likely never see that come to pass. That's likely never gonna happen in this timeline. Oh, Nintendo, I love you, but I want to punch you in the face sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. But it's cool Nintendo's not chaining themselves down to strictly Illumination or Universal like I stated before. They have multiple channels and avenues if they want to seek other studios and other writers, directors, visionaries, and different styles and forms to adapt their IPs in all different kinds of films and entertainment. And live action just does super well across the board for most shows and films. But Nintendo's trying to flaunt they're open to other mediums as well. Like, more types of animated styles of movies cross their mind. Maybe even anime or cartoons. I don't care if it's niche. I need more Kid Icarus content in my life. And another Kid Icarus anime would be so damn good. Oh, I wish we got Kid Icarus again. ARMS, movie or cartoon, you could make for a fire animated show or movie out of ARMS. Especially since it was gonna get a comic. Metroid's probably gonna get a live action film. That could probably slap. We could get another Kirby cartoon. Maybe a Punch-Out film, Rocky style. A Xenoblade anime, Splatoon anime. There's a lot of potential Nintendo could tap into for the entertainment industry as a whole, and both Mario and Zelda are only serving to amplify that. It's also cool they're not limiting themselves outside of Sony's bubble, because there is some potential conflict in how Sony Pictures is a corporate sibling of Sony Interactive Entertainment, aka the Sony that makes the consoles and the games, the Sony that's one of Nintendo's primary competitors. So it's nice that that's not a potential problem, at least for now, in Nintendo's point of view. But also this development and planning on Miyamoto's part might also track all the way back from 2014 too. There was this whole email leak almost a decade ago that revealed Sony Pictures was trying to snag the rights from Nintendo for them to make a Mario movie, but Arad denied the deal being closed, and now the same guy involved in trying to secure that deal is helping produce a Zelda movie now instead, 9 years since that whole buzz. And Miyamoto himself said he was working on this project for many years. We don't know the exact context of what he means by that, since him and Nintendo are basically saying they started development now. It could be an overreach or miscalculation for sure. Maybe either 9 years or far less were spent just planning the film and the development process, because now development starts, but it's hard to ignore some dots here do connect. The only worry thus far, for me at least, is the confirmed writer behind the project is Derek Connolly, who is known to have co-written the stories for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and Jurassic World Dominion, co-wrote the screenplay for Jurassic World and Detective Pikachu, just to name a couple of his works. Detective Pikachu's one thing, but even then, was that not the best? Half of his other works leave a lot, and I mean a lot to be desired, so I am a little worried the writing for the film is going to be either boring or disappointing in some way. That said though, whether there or any other aspect that I'm worried about of the movie or other people are worried about, whatever. Despite I was optimistic for the Mario movie going into it, since a little after the very beginning, even before the casting was revealed, a lot of people were incredibly cautious about the Mario movie. Between the video game movie stigma stinking the air for decades, Mario himself not being known for having narrative-dense games beyond the RPGs and 1 or 2 3D games, the voice acting cast, the stigma behind Miyamoto and how he hates stories despite how oversimplified and inaccurate that whole business is, Illumination's track record, just a lot of different reasons for why people were hesitant on Mario getting a film, and how it could have gone south so badly and a lot worser than how the final movie turned out. But, surprise surprise, it wound up being an insane hit and a good movie in a lot of people's eyes. Whether unironic good, good enough, decent, a roller coaster for Mario fans, etc. So after that, I have a good chunk more optimism in Nintendo co-handling a Zelda movie, especially when a notable name in the movie industry, playing a big part in a myriad of Marvel and superhero films, is behind the project, and when Sony Pictures Entertainment's track record is pretty damn good, all things considered. Not everything they make is Oscar-worthy, 10 out of 10's incredible animated pieces. They've made some stinkers, like the Emoji Movie, the Open Season films, or the Smurfs movie, but like, Surf's Up, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Into the Spider-Verse, and Across the Spider-Verse, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, they do got some good and really spectacular films under their belt. They have the talent, they have the manpower, skill, and budget. Forget Nintendo definitely has the budget. So this collaboration definitely has fair odds of boding very well for Zelda and Nintendo. Much more initially than with Illumination for Mario by a wider margin. And any worries I might have with the Zelda movie do have a chance of being turned around and becoming better, maybe even far better than I expect. Time will tell. So between the studio and big names behind the project besides the writer, and Miyamoto plus Nintendo's whole precedent with the Mario movie, alongside Zelda just being a natural fit for both live action and film period, yeah, I'm down for a Zelda movie. But I gotta wonder, the form it's gonna take. A lot of us assumed they might just adapt a Zelda game into a film, which they very well could. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild because of how super popular that game is lately. Like, they got plenty of options as far as a specific Zelda they want to put into a movie. But they very well might not do that too. Zelda's whole shtick, reincarnating Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, reconfiguring all of Hyrule, and the setting and story of most Zeldas, the inhabitants of Hyrule, if not the greater world, the antagonists, the story of events per game. Like, the Zelda cinematic universe could very well just be another Zelda timeline, separate from the games. And I think that's probably the route they're gonna go for. Canon divergent timeline, while still taking plenty of elements and cues from a specific point in the timeline, or a specific game, and work those details from there into a new timeline/universe altogether. It matched Zelda's consistent theme of reincarnation, so it's completely possible. Even then, like the Mario movie, you could separate from the games if you wanted to, but that film's adaptation does fit remarkably well within the core Mario games, the main Mario canon. So like, if anything, that kind of supports this theory, especially when Zelda can just disconnect it if they want to. But whether they adapt some of a certain Zelda, or fully adapt a certain Zelda outright into its own movie, I think most Zelda fans, from what I've seen in my journeys online, are split between Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword, being the ones to adapt straight. Skyward Sword has the character writing super carrying that game, that one speaks for itself, but Ocarina of Time still also has a very good story throughout, with a lot of subtext throughout the entire adventure. The time travel shenanigans, young Link and young Zelda's whole meetup, young Link's meetup with the various characters throughout Hyrule, Malon, Saria, and the mass shift in tone and atmosphere when the time skip happens 7 years later, halfway through the game, the build-up leading up to the final battle against Ganon. Like, Ocarina of Time, to me anyways, probably is the easiest and best Zelda game to make into a film, because a lot of the substance and flavor for a Zelda movie is right there, probably more than the other Zeldas. But this is coming from a guy who's only beaten Ocarina and got through like 20 hours of Breath of the Wild. which is like 2% of that game. Exaggeration, but you get my point. So, you're free to call bias on my part. There probably is some, but I'm pretty sure a ton of other Zelda fans speak from a similar sentiment. But not even just that. The actor castings. If our response to the Mario movie's initial voice roles were completely bamboozled, you can only imagine how much crazier it's going to be for this one. We're going to get live-action Link, live-action Zelda, live-action Ganondorf, and who knows what other characters or races from established Zelda games we get. Impa, the Zorians, the Gorons, etc. Some of it's obviously going to be CGI and all, the latter two races in particular, and probably Ganon's final form, but still. That's so weird and insane to think about. Like, dude, we could get Tom Holland Link, Michael Cera Link, Ryan Gosling Link, maybe, dude. The possibilities are so vast with this being a live-action movie. Our reaction to Chris Pratt and all the other main actors and actresses behind the Mario movie, that's gonna look so cute in comparison to whatever they got cooking up for who's gonna play Link, Zelda, and all the other characters in this movie. Here are my predictions for the live actors for Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf. Tom Holland and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for Link and Ganondorf. I think that's too easy. I think that's like the most basic answer you could think of. So I'm not doing that. We're not going to go basic. We're not going to go easy. Link. Chandler Riggs. Dude was on The Walking Dead. Zelda. Zelda Williams. Ganondorf. Keith David. Come on. Come on. Come on. Especially for Zelda and Ganon. It is way too perfect for casting to not consider. Forget pass up. Dude, Keith David would kill it as Ganondorf. And Zelda Williams was literally born for this role. It's like, oh, she was made for this. She was born for it, dude. What's even weirder on top, though, the strong chance we're going to get a Link that's probably going to talk. Mario speaking long, audible sentences over a period of time, that's something I thought was a complete non-issue. Because, you know, I've played a lot of Mario games to tell, but, like, besides that, it was a worry some had. Just like, oh, it's like Charles Martinet and, like, that voice we've heard in the games just speaking for, like, an hour and a half long. Even then, like, Mario Charles, like, the character's spoken whole lines of dialogue. Like, he has catchphrases, a specific cadence of vocality everyone's familiar with. The Yahoo! Yippee! Let's go! All the famous lines and stuff he said. Like, Link's Nintendo's primo silent protagonist. The most he utters are slight grunts and screams to either death or action. And like, most Zeldas too, especially the adult ones, like, he's changed voice actors pretty consistently. He's had like, I think like 4 or 5 at this point. He does not say anything in any of the games. I know he has a manga, but in the games, So I know for a fact, accustoming to a Link that can talk, that's something a lot of people are going to have a harder time adjusting to than Mario talking for fair reason, because I'm pretty sure Link's going to talk in this movie. I would love, though, an orchestral score throughout the thing. Can we please stop with the pop culture music stuff, please? The Mario movie soundtrack was an absolute bop that got bogged down by the pop culture music that replaced even more banger music. Miyamoto said it'd be weird to not have pop culture music in a movie, that's why the Mario movie got some. I completely disagree. Brian Tyler and Koji Kondo completely cooked so insanely hard with the Mario movie soundtrack. I'd feel so bad for Zelda fans if they got Who Let the Dogs Out, Take On Me, or some other pop culture song in a Zelda movie. Of all movies, you get like Take On Me or I Need a Hero. Oh my Jesus. We don't need that. We just don't. I'm not even hating on the songs. It's just like, dude, we don't even need that in these movies when the composers go so hard on making the soundtrack faithful and really good, and you just cut that out for pop culture. It doesn't need any of that, and I promise you, there are so many people out there, that's not even just me, that feel the same. Especially if we get Koji Kondo working on an orchestral score, because he's made Zelda music for so long now, remixing a lot of famous Zelda tunes for this movie. Oh, orchestrated mainly, but oh, that'd be such a dream come true. CGI and presentation, I can imagine, will look very well. I think it really just comes down to whether they fully adapt a specific Zelda game or make it more an original story. Also, I'm pretty sure that unless it wound up being a standalone thing, the fact that both Pokemon and Zelda's cinematic universes are live action while Mario's is animated, I'm pretty sure that kind of throws the chances of a Smash Brothers movie or cinematic universe dead in the water too. But yeah, it's going to be a while till we get more visible details and listings and trailers of this movie, so we got a ways to go. but a live-action Zelda movie under both Nintendo and Sony stands a very solid chance, in my opinion, of turning out to be another big success for both companies, and I'm definitely eager to see what they got cooking. Movies we gotta wait till we see, but like, it could be good. Probably gonna be good. We could at least hope it just doesn't suck. That's the one thing all of us can agree on. We just hope it doesn't suck. Let me know your thoughts on this announcement and potential surrounding a Zelda movie in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I gotta get back to making my Mario Kart, and Invincible content to come soon. Stay super.
Yo, hey, 妹妹，嘿，我来呀！共和大泡泡呀！拉面，嘿，来。